Waking up this morning, see Target down 21%. We see the fear and greed index ticking up one tick closer to greedy territory. And let's not forget, after the bell, we have a slew of earnings coming out. NVIDIA, Snowflake, Palo Alto, and Jack in the Box, just to name a few. So are we going to see NVIDIA and some of the other stocks after the report earnings do exactly what Target has done? We look at this news article right here. Target shares crash on profit miss, downgrade outlook, and market share loss as Walmart reigns supreme. Keep in mind, it was just yesterday we saw Walmart making another new all-time high. And for most of today, this is what the heat map looked like. Nothing more than a sea of red. There was nowhere to hide for a majority of the morning session. And when we see the news come out with the escalations over in Russia and Ukraine, look at the dollar index rocketing up once that news came out. And what did the S&P do? Came crashing down lower today. And we did go a little bit lower than what I thought. Even though some of the initial targets like these minus development areas we were watching did come back and get hit, this was just a straight down move, found the bottom, and then late in the day we're rallying up. So I got to be honest with you. If NVIDIA disappoints today, watch out, we're probably going to go substantially lower. Now, when we look at how the indices fared across the board, the Dow was up 139 points. The NASDAQ was down 21 points. S&P 500 up 0.13, and the Russell 2000 up 0.29. When we look at advancing issues versus declining, we had 53.9% of issues declining on the day. And then when we come over and look at the sectors, healthcare and energy were by far outshining all the other sectors out there. So now we got to wonder, should we be concerned? Again, on Financial Juice out here this morning, you know, they basically talked about the escalation, and now Ukraine has also fired some projectiles that was provided to them from the UK. So there's a lot of fear out there in terms of what is Putin going to do? You know, you back a bear into the corner, you keep poking the bear, and eventually, you know what? The bear is going to get you. Well, you know what? That's not the only risk that we have out there. We also have the risk of conflict between Trump and the Fed is very high, at least as this top economist says. And basically what this article is saying in a nutshell is Trump's mass deportations along with lower taxes could cause a lot higher inflation moving forward. And you know what? If we come over and look at the Fed watch tool, notice the odds of the Fed doing nothing at the next FOMC meeting out here next month continue to rise. 44.5% chance the Fed does nothing at the next FOMC meeting. Now, let me know, do you guys think the Fed is going to be cutting rates? Are they going to stand still and do nothing about it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. So as we look at the stock market, how do we deal with the escalations over between Russia and Ukraine? We saw the dollar on the rise once again today. We saw the VIX rallying up as well. But you know what? We did not see crude oil on the way back up. So we see tensions over in the Middle East. Crude oil shoots up. We're not so much seeing that with the tensions rising between Russia and Ukraine. However, one benefactor out there was nat gas. So maybe if the escalations continue to rise up even more, maybe, just maybe, we're going to start to see nat gas start to spike up again. Hopefully cooler heads will prevail and we'll start to see a de-escalation sooner than later. We come over and look at the Russell 2000, the small caps. We're coming into the zone in. Are we going to be able to reject out? The longer we stay at these lower levels, the more likely we're going to come all the way down here, potentially filling that gap. Then as we look at the diamonds was rather stronger than the other indices out here today. However, on the daily chart, look at the MACD indicator, just now getting a bearish cross of the line. So do we basically retrace up, filling the gap from a few days back, or are we going to see a turn back down, filling the gap from the elections, coming back towards this high volume area on the composite profile? We look out here on the 30-minute chart. Notice we've had that divergence playing out. We keep rallying up, and now you can see the MACD indicator starting to get more of a cross between the two lines, and we're going to see, can we push up and out of this area? Now that's going to look a little bit different than what we see with the NASDAQ. And this is what we warned about this morning. The first part of the stream, we're going over some analysis. And one of the things I warned about was with the MACD near the zero line, watch out. We could essentially that could be a recharge point for another leg lower or coming down and testing the recent lows. We came relatively close today. We look out here on the daily chart and we can see this consolidation. It's looking a little bit firmer with the hammer candle today. Like we may want to run up here, filling the gap at 508.41. However, I think NVIDIA is going to heavily influence the direction in terms of, do we fill the gap below us or the gap above us first? We look out here on the 4-hour chart. MACD indicator is still crossed to the downside, but we can see the line starting to basically firm up and basically flatten out near that zero line. Then on the 30-minute chart, what are we going to be looking at for tomorrow? Well, you can see for all intents and purposes, 1, 2, 3, 4 days of consolidation down here near this area. So it's going to be important that we can break above yesterday's high. If we can get above it, then I want to look for this gap above us to potentially come all the way up here and fill in that gap. Now, if you notice also, we are closing above value area high, which comes in about 501.68. If we can stay above that price point, then that does lend to the case we'll fill the gap. But you guys know my MO. Whenever we close outside of value, I expect within the next 1 or 2 days, in this case, it'd be either Thursday or Friday, we come back in at minimum, test value area high, and then go ahead and continue on the way up. Now, I want to bring it to your guys' attention. There is no published 80% sale with Apex Trader Funding at this moment, but if you use the link in the description box down below and use promo code Mike at checkout, I've been told that 80% discount is still being applied. When we come back over here and we look at the futures markets real quick, look at the 4-hour chart. This is what we drew out today during the live stream. And if you want to make sure you don't miss the next time I go live, make sure you're subscribed and you have the bell notifications turned on for all. But you see, we had this push down. We had this lower level consolidation, and then today we're trying to push on down. Now, if this low can hold from today, then we have this potential for this A to B equals C to D pattern on the way up. That gives us a price completion about 20,941. And you know what? It's not that far away from that 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level. Now, one of the other areas we have been watching has been this untested value area low. Will we be able to make it up there today? Because to be honest with you, a lot of people didn't think we'd be able to make it back to this structure breakdown point that we mapped out today on the live stream as well. And I was a little bit questioning it as we got a little bit lower, but look, we came all the way back up towards that area and we had a nice A to B equals C to D pattern intraday. It would go something like this: A to B equals C to D. And you can see we completed that right up here at 20,776. Now, if I go ahead and remove the drawings and notice right now, we are currently trading above value area high, which is really going to come in at a price point of 20,738.25. The point of control will be down here at 20,615.75, and value area low will be 20,547.75. Now, one thing to note, if we start breaking below value area high, then I do want to turn my focus on maybe this minus development area here, or the second minus development area, which is also the prior day's point of control at 20,674. Keep in mind, if we do get below value area high, highly probable we come down and we start testing the point of control. Now, when we come over and look at the SPY, notice we're closing near the upper third of today's range. And look at the MACD indicator. It's still crossed to the downside for the time being. Is it about to cross back up? And if it does, is that going to give us some type of divergence play moving forward? You can see if we can start breaking above this recent consolidation high, we are likely going to come all the way back up here towards this high volume node at about 598.23. 4-hour chart, the MACD indicator is still bearish. 1-hour chart, you can see we're just starting to get a nice little fresh cross right here. We have divergence playing out as well. Then on the 30-minute chart, notice as we came towards the zero line with the MACD indicator, we got that slap down intraday, but we also have a low, higher low, higher low, and today we failed to make a higher high. So could a higher high be in store for tomorrow? And like I said, I think NVIDIA is going to really hold the cards for that. If we start breaking above this recent lower level consolidation, then I do want to focus on that gap being filled at about 593.38. As we jump over and look at the futures markets for the S&P, here's the Fibonacci retracement we have. Today we came where? Right up to the 50% level. Bam, we got smacked right back down. Now, when we draw this out on the 4-hour chart and we measure A to B equals C to D, notice where the 100% level comes in at, right near value area low from last week. And we know when we close outside of value, highly probable within the next 1 to 2 sessions, since we're dealing with a weekly profile, that would be the next 1 to 2 weeks, we are likely going to come back and test that. So if we start taking out this high over here, this is going to be my target area, my bigger target picture moving forward. And you guys will see me talk about that tomorrow on the live stream as well. Now, out here on the 30-minute chart, notice we do have a minus development area I do want to focus on maybe for tonight. And that area is going to be anywhere from about 59.27 down here towards about 59.22. Keep in mind, value area high is at 59.22.5. And this prior structure breakdown point right here, you can see we already made it all the way back up there and tested it today. Now, if we can come down here, 1, we have a minus development area. 2, we're closing outside of value, barring, NVIDIA's moves coming up here in a few moments. And then anything below that, I would really want to try to force my trades down towards 58.99 and a half, trying to target that point of control, but just be mindful at that minus development area before there, we could see a little bit of a hiccup and maybe a little bit of a bounce back up. Now, if we do start breaking below the lows down here, watch out. We're probably coming all the way back down towards this next high volume area, which really comes in about 57.61. Now, if you guys want to learn how to trade in Apex, Trade Evade account on the NinjaTrader 8 platform, make sure to watch this video right here.